The gavel cracked down like a gunshot, and Elena Voss was already on her feet, screaming the word liar across a silent courtroom. 12 weeks earlier, she had never even heard the name Marcus Kell. By the time the story ends, one of them will have lost everything, and it will not be who you think. 6 months earlier, Elena Voss ran a small flower shop on the corner of Ashford Hollow's quiet Main Street. Her husband David worked long hours as an accountant, and lately, he had been coming home even later than usual. They had been married 9 years, and though money was tight, Elena believed their life together was steady. What she did not know was that David had been slipping out most nights to a card room on the edge of town. On a rain-soaked Thursday night, David called Elena to say he was leaving the office and would be home soon. He never made it home. At 11:47 p.m., 2 police officers knocked on Elena's front door, and her entire world folded in on itself. The police report mentioned a large delivery truck seen speeding away from the scene minutes before the crash. That single line of text would consume the next 6 months of Elena's life. A local mechanic told Elena that the paint scrape on David's car matched trucks used by Kell Logistics, a company owned by a man named Marcus Kell. Marcus Kell was the most successful businessman in Ashford Hollow, and everyone said his name with a mixture of respect and envy. Desperate for answers, Elena hired a sharp young lawyer named Richard Lane to help her find the truth. Richard warned her that suing a man like Marcus Kell would be an uphill fight she might not win. Elena looked him in the eye and said she had already lost everything that mattered, so she had nothing left to be afraid of. The lawsuit made local headlines within days, and Marcus Kell's company suddenly found itself under public scrutiny. In the courtroom, a security guard named Otis Bell testified that he had seen a Kell Logistics truck leaving the crash site that night. Marcus sat perfectly still through the testimony, his expression unreadable, while reporters scribbled notes just feet away. Outside the courthouse, Marcus's company began losing contracts as clients distanced themselves from the scandal. Elena felt, for the first time since the funeral, that she was finally getting justice for David. But late one night, Richard called Elena with a strange discovery buried in the truck's delivery logs. The truck the guard described had been parked in a garage 40 miles away the entire night of the crash. That meant the guard's testimony, the one piece of evidence tying Marcus to the crash, had been a lie. Elena refused to believe it, insisting there had to be some other explanation that still pointed to Marcus. Richard's next question stopped her cold. Who would benefit from Marcus Kell being destroyed? Richard's investigator traced a payment from an offshore account to the guard, Otis Bell, made 2 days before he testified. The account traced back to Victor Hale, a rival logistics owner who had spent years trying to buy out Marcus's company. Meanwhile, Elena's savings had drained away paying for expert witnesses and mounting legal fees. The flower shop, once her pride, sat with its shelves half empty because she had no time or money left to restock them. Elena stood at a crossroads, unsure whether chasing the truth would cost her the last thing she had left. Before Richard could bring the bribery evidence to court, the judge dismissed the case for lack of credible proof. Worse, the judge ordered Elena to cover Marcus Kell's legal costs for what he called a reckless and unfounded lawsuit. Within weeks, Elena was forced to sell her house and shutter the flower shop to pay the debt. While packing David's old desk, Elena found a drawer full of unopened gambling debt notices addressed in his name. In that moment, Elena realized the man she had been mourning was not the man she thought she married. Richard tracked down proof that Victor Hale had also quietly bought up David's gambling debts months before the crash. It meant Victor had been circling David for weeks, pressuring him the very night he died behind the wheel. Elena confronted Victor Hale directly, walking into his office without an appointment and demanding the truth. Victor calmly admitted he had framed Marcus, saying David's fatal heart attack behind the wheel was simply a convenient tragedy he chose to exploit. Elena stood frozen, realizing the crash had never been anyone's fault but a broken heart no one had caught in time. With Richard's help, Elena turned the recorded confession over to the district attorney's office the very next morning. Victor Hale was arrested within days on charges of witness tampering and fraud, his empire unraveling in headlines. Marcus Kell reached out to Elena directly, not with anger, but with a quiet understanding of what grief could make a person do. He offered, quietly and without conditions, to help her reopen the flower shop she had lost. Months later, the little flower shop on the corner of Ashford Hollow reopened its doors under a new coat of paint. Elena visited David's grave that spring, finally able to speak to him without the weight of blame in her chest. She told him she finally understood that some people are lost long before the moment we say goodbye to them. She sued the wrong person, lost nearly everything she owned, and found a truth far heavier than the one she went looking for. And in the end, it was not the courtroom that gave her justice, but the quiet decision to finally let go.